Hello everyone! It's time to learn more about God today. We are going to be discussing how do we take up our cross and follow Jesus in Matthew chapter 10 verse 38. Before we can answer this question, we must look at the verse. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. Matthew chapter 10 verse 38. Picking up one's cross is not a physical thing, and it can't be done by going to church. To pick up one's cross is to forsake the life that many people live when they jump on the bandwagon. They do what society tells them to do, and everybody likes them and praises them. They don't suffer anything, because as John the Apostle said in his first epistle, "They are of the world, therefore speak they of the world, and the world heareth them." 1 John chapter 4 verse 5. However, Christians can't be a part of this group. They can't listen to what society tells them, even though this refusal to listen makes them disliked, like Jesus was. As he said in John, "The world cannot hate you, but me it hateth, because I testify of it, that the works thereof are evil." John chapter 7 verse 7. True Christians can never be liked because the ways of the world and the ways of God do not meet. As it was said in James, "Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of God." James chapter 4 verse 4. Now, I'm making things look simple here, but in reality, it's pretty hard to go against what most people believe in. It's as hard as carrying a cross up a hill on the way to your death, which is why Jesus made this comparison in Matthew chapter 10 verse 38. 2 verses earlier, Jesus even said that some of our loved ones would make it hard for us to serve him. He said that out of experience, because not only did he have to deal with the persecution of the Pharisees, but he also had to deal with his own family's rejection of him in John chapter 7 verses 1 to 5. Therefore, if Jesus had to suffer persecution because he lived righteously, why won't we face the same challenge? In exhorting the apostles, Jesus said, "Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also." John chapter 15 verse 20. We can also look at 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 21 and John chapter 13 verse 15. This is why we can't take up our cross just by going to church. People don't get persecuted there. They just hear sermons and leave. Therefore, my advice is that we should apply what we study in the scriptures to our lives, according to John chapter 13 verse 17, Romans chapter 2 verse 13, and James chapter 1 verses 22 to 25. Once we live according to the Bible, we'll sometimes be hated and bullied, but God will never allow us to suffer temptation that we can't handle, according to 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 13. With enough determination, we'll get through it and we'll earn the blessings that Jesus talked about in Matthew. "Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you, and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice, and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you." Matthew chapter 5 verses 10 to 12. And that is where I'm going to stop with this Bible Q&A. How do we take up our cross and follow Jesus in Matthew chapter 10 verse 38? We do this by not listening to what society thinks about our faith, and by dealing with the persecution that comes as a result of this. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe.